NCAA Women's Basketball Championship first-round news conference as number 9 seed South Dakota State defeats Southern Cal 62-57 in overtime. Joining us on the days shortly from USC will be head coach Lindsey Gottlieb, Rhea Marshall, and Destiny Littleton. Littleton had 18 points. Rhea Marshall had her 14th double-double of the season with 17 points and 13 rebounds. The USC locker room is open, and it will be open until 11:17 tonight. Need a water, Coach?
Yes, please.
We'll take an opening statement from Coach Lindsey Gottlieb.
Credit South Dakota State. They're a really good team. We knew that. They're poised and experienced, and we tried to make it really hard for them. And I thought when they needed to, they made the winning plays. Credit to their coach Aaron, who does a terrific job. I'm really proud. I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of the people in the locker room. The journey we went on was an exceptional one. We wish it were longer. We wanted to keep playing. Really disappointed, but the predominant feeling is pride in this group and what they've done for our program.
Questions for the student athletes? Jimmy in the front here.
Jimmy Robertson, Associated Press. This is for either of you two. Y'all shot 31%. What was it about South Dakota State's defense that made it such a difficult shooting evening for you guys?
They're a seasoned team. They been here before. They've been playing together for a very long time. They just took away what we wanted to do. They pressured us. They forced us to take shots that we normally wouldn't take. And so they kind of just got us out of our rhythm a little bit, and we really couldn't, find the open person or, I think we were worried a lot about their charges that they take, and so we kind of just mentally started playing differently. But, credit to them. They came in and had a really good game plan.
Second row here.
Coach Tim Thomas from the Tech Lunch Pail. Was there anything that South Dakota State did differently from what you guys scouted and what you guys saw on film?
Nope. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Questions for the student athletes at this point. We'll hold off on Coach. Thank you.
Well, for the student, was there anything that that South Dakota State threw at you guys that you weren't expecting, or what were they able to do down the stretch in the overtime?
We'll stay with Destiny here on this one.
They just found their open player. 44 was on one, and credit to her, she was aggressive the entire game, and she got calls that went for her majority of the game, and they found her down the stretch. She was hot. I think she had 29, so she was definitely a difficult matchup for us. But really, they just were who they were, and they found the hot people.
Front row.
Yeah, Mitchell Northam, filling in for the LA Times. Destiny, coach has talked about how proud she is of this journey that this team went on. You came here to kind of help sort of establish, some footing for this program. Do you consider kind of this journey that you went on a success this season?
Absolutely. Obviously, we don't want to be out in the first round, but USC hasn't been here in a very long time. So that was my number one goal coming here, is to get USC back to the NCAA tournament, and we checked that off the list. And now, obviously we've set the foundation, us graduates who are leaving and obviously the players who are still here, we set a level of, greatness that we want to see moving forward. We have really good recruits coming in. And so I think just moving forward, there's, obviously losses hurt, but, we're able to just kind of build on this season and move forward and hopefully, get to deeper in the tournament.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is for Rhea. I don't know if anybody's told you this yet, but you broke Lisa Leslie's blocks record tonight for a single season. She's a legend. What does that kind of mean to you to sort of be in the same breath as her?
Thanks for telling me that, because I didn't know that. It's really exciting to know. For me, I just like to come out and compete. I feel like when I'm blocking shots out there on the defensive end, it's sparking my team full of energy.
Definitely going to have to brag to Lisa a little bit about that. But I'm grateful to have done that and completed that with Coach G and this team this season.
Anything else? Second row.
Joey, Legacy Maker Sports Network. I guess either of you could answer this. What's one thing that you want people to remember about this team specifically this year?
Just that we we're a team that nobody looked at us as a potential NCAA tournament team, and we believed in ourselves. We believed in a program that Lindsay has put together, and we just believed in each other. I think, every day we're not perfect. We make turnovers. We don't hit shots, but one thing that we did all season was play for each other, and we just wanted each other to win, whether, that be a win at the end of the day or a loss. But, we were here for each other. We didn't stop fighting. You can never say that, we're just a team that laid down. We almost came back down by, 8 in overtime when people probably thought, it was over. But, just a couple mistakes down the line. But honestly, this team is just, we're coming back. The rest of my teammates and the coaching staff, they're going to come back even harder next year.
Additional questions for the student athletes? Thank you for your time. You can head back to the locker room. We'll open it up now to questions for Coach Gottlieb. And we'll start with Jimmy here on the left side.
Yeah, Coach, Sellen had 29 points. I think she had 16 consecutive at one stretch there in the second half and overtime. What about her makes her such a tough matchup?
I mean, to me, she's a pro. She scores at all three levels. And when I say that, more from the free throw line, on the block and from three. But their system and their offense makes it really hard. You can't really double her, right? Because then they'll kick out for threes. She's constantly moving. They play and flow really well, and she's a terrific player who got to her spots and made big shots.
Go to Mitchell in the front.
Yeah, Coach. You jumped out to that 10-point lead there early in the first quarter. What was kind of going right for y'all in that moment, and then what didn't go right after that?
Yeah, I mean, I think our defense, I can't remember, but specifically, but I know like Rhea blocked up a couple shots. They were having a hard time scoring. Our pressure was bothering them, and we hit some shots on that end. And then, our defense remained fairly consistent, but we had trouble putting the ball in the basket and converting stops into scores, which it's tough. Like when we were really, I felt like cooking on the defensive end, we want a bigger lead than what we had. At the end of the first quarter, I felt like we were in control, but we're only up 3. So I think just our inability to turn those stops into scores is probably the biggest thing. And then they caught a rhythm in the second quarter, and that 3 to end the half was a backbreaker, just because points were so hard to come by, and it gave them a lead going into halftime. So, and then we had to really speed up the game and started pressing in the second half. And, they were too rhythmic coming out of the half, and I thought we kind of jacked them up a little bit, but the fact that we were playing from behind was tough.
Second row.
Coach, it seemed like your team really showed a lot of effort fighting back at the end of the fourth quarter, fighting back in overtime. How much is that just the character of the team you have? How much is that coached in, and where does that? How much does the roster construction maybe factor into that as well?
That's a great question. In the spring last year, when I sort of figured out, having been at USC for a year, where we needed to go, like what the direction needed to be and how we were going to get there. And I was very transparent with this is where we're going, and this is how we have to shift the culture. And then I had to go out and get a bunch of transfers who believed in that vision. So it was a little bit of a mix of people from a lot of different places, but our North Star and our driving force has always been we want to be in the postseason, and we're committed to winning, and what does winning look like? And so I had a bunch of people who really bought into that all year, and then we coached them up in terms of how it has to look in terms of the effort and the intensity. But I credit our players, and I told them in there, I do think there's a lot of great things in store for this program, but I'll never forget this group. They've changed the perception of what people think of us. A couple of them were super seniors in their last year of eligibility. And even though they may not be here when we do some other big things in this tournament, they're sure, in my mind, sure as heck going to be a part of it and a part of the Trojan legacy in a way that was really important to me. And so I'm proud of that. And I think it's something that's been part of our identity all year long.
Okay. Back to Mitchell in the front.
Yeah, Coach, Destiny and a couple other transfers you brought in, they had NCAA tournament experience. Rhea didn't. This was her first, and had a double-double on all those blocks. How impressed were you with her tonight, and kind of prospects for her moving forward?
Yeah, I was really impressed. We challenged her, in the last, whatever it has been, almost 2 weeks since we've played to take advantage of this stage, but really more just to continue to grow. When I got the job, she was my first phone call, right? I needed to keep her. She had been, signed with USC. And from that point on, she's been coachable. She's been bought in. She wants to be great. She allows us to push her. And so I think she got a taste of it tonight. So I think that could be a scary thing in a good way of she's not happy with the feeling, I think, and I think that's going to drive her. But her talent is limitless. We're going to help make her, one of the best players she can possibly be, and one of the best players in the country. But I was really impressed with the way that she came out tonight and competed.
Coach, was there anything that South Dakota State maybe threw out there that was maybe a little unexpected from what you saw on tape and your scout?
Not really. I mean, maybe the pressure on our wings. We had a hard time getting to our spots on offense. Like, I think, he probably knew we had a size advantage inside. And so, we've seen sagging defenses to try and negate our presence inside, but he went more with a, pressure, make it hard to get to the wings. So I would say that maybe felt, I felt that more than what I'd seen on film. But from an offensive standpoint, I thought we had a good scout and knew it was coming. They're just really good at it. And when we were holding them from scoring easy baskets, we weren't scoring enough. So I think probably on the defensive end was maybe where they were able to apply a little more pressure than I expected.
Additional questions for Coach Gottlieb. Okay, Coach, thanks so much for your time.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck on the trip back to Southern Cal. Reminder, the USC locker room is open until 11:17. South Dakota State and Coach Aaron Johnston up next.